Okay, I'm going to respond to Jeff Claw's comments on DJ's video, the video that I did of the real, really Robin, not the fake one that we all know is fake. This is his statement. He's poking holes in the CCTV footage. No coherent reason to hoax. Thousands of people go unemployed and bankrupt every day without hoaxing a disappearance, let alone a decade-long one. Well, first of all, no one has ever said Kenny filed bankruptcy, and there were no liens. Let me state that again. There were no liens on Kenny's house when he left. The only lien that was on Kenny's house was from December of 2015, over 13 months after he left, and it was for $1,440, and that was through the Clark County Recorder's Office, and the lien was for unpaid HOA dues. Kenny's HOA was $96 a month. So with that and late fees, that comes out to $1,440. That lien was paid on February of 2016 by a check from Bank of America. So at this point, we're now at February of 2016. There are no liens on Kenny's property. Kenny never filed bankruptcy. That's just a fact. The second is no life insurance as stated by the detective on the HLN show. Well, sorry, Jeff, but that's wrong. At the 45:11 mark, Detective Hawley said they were not aware of any policy, but that doesn't mean there isn't one, because it's pretty difficult just to determine if a person does have life insurance unless somebody shares that information or you're able to find it in their financial documents. But if it's something, and this is Detective Hawley stating this, not me, but if it's something they pay for in some other fashion, it's really difficult to find them. So basically, Sharon could have taken out a life insurance policy on Kenny. They didn't check her financial records, and they didn't find a life insurance policy in Kenny's house. But that doesn't mean anything because they went in there and took things. We are told.
We asked Detective Holly about Kenny Veach's possible life insurance policy.
I'm not aware that we ever found anything on life insurance on Mr. Veach.
But he did admit that does not mean there isn't one.
It's pretty difficult just to determine if a person does have life insurance unless somebody shares that information with you or you're able to find it in their financial documents. But if it's something that they pay for in some other fashion, then it's really difficult to find them.
And as of 7 years after Kenny's disappearance, no one had petitioned the court to collect any of Kenny Veach's property.
And that's why I broke in. Things have come to light now. I changed my reason now for why Kenny broke in, but I don't change the fact that it was Kenny that broke in. I will never change that fact. I know Kenny personally, and you do not know what you're talking about. What did we do there? A 30-year-old Vegas crackhead, well, I don't know why it does that. A 30-year-old Vegas crackhead, one of many laying all over the streets, is supposedly a 51-year-old Kenny robbing the one store in Vegas that is assisting his hoax. Absurd. Well, first of all, I don't know where you get it. The guy was 30 years old. He has a bald spot, identical to Kenny's bald spot. And what are the odds of a guy breaking in to a Reiki center owned by his brother, and he looks identical to Kenny? He knows exactly where to go in the store. He comes around the counter and reaches for something, not a cash box, because idiots do not leave cash boxes laying out. And also, there's not enough room. I don't know if you've ever worked in retail, but there's not enough room for a cash box under where Kenny put his hand. There's enough room for keys, So possibly he was looking for keys. So what you're trying to get us to believe is a 30-year-old crackhead knew exactly where to go in the store. A 30-year-old crackhead with a 51-year-old bald spot wearing loafers. Yes, if you watch the video, that was a detail that I caught, and I asked his ex-wife Diana, and she said yes, Kenny wore loafers. He would come home from work, take off his shoes, and put on his loafers. I don't know too many 30-year-old loafers who dress as nicely as the guy who broke into the Reiki Center. He's wearing, let's see, okay, first of all, he looks like Kenny. He's built like Kenny. He moves like Kenny. He's got slender hands like Kenny. His hands shake like Kenny's does when he's pointing at things in his house on his video trying to sell his house because he was nervous. And yeah, I'm pretty sure if Kenny broke in to his brother's store, regardless of why he was there, he would be nervous. I would be. Of course, I'm normal, and I wouldn't go breaking into a store and not be nervous, because that just goes against everything I know. But to say that he's a 30-year-old crackhead wearing camouflage cargo pants with Kenny's hair, exact hair, Kenny's sideburns, Kenny's forehead, moves like Kenny, built like Kenny, but he's a 30-year-old crackhead. That sounds to me like your opinion. Oh, and let me correct you on something. On the HLN documentary, at the 55.25 mark, Victoria said, this is what they said. Now you need to understand this. Vicky filmed her portion of the HLN documentary on December 8th, 2020. I filmed mine on September 20th, 2021, damn near a year later. That was when CNN got the CCTV footage break-in. They contacted Vicky off camera in around September of 2021 while they were in town to film my portion. They contacted Vicky on the phone and asked her about the CCTV footage. And she said, and this is what they say, 55.25 mark on the HLN documentary. And I'm going to have Dean show you the transcript, and he can possibly, because he's way better at this shit than I am, he can possibly play her the voice stating this. Victoria said,
And it was almost a year after we first spoke to Kenny's daughter Victoria when we became aware of the surveillance video. So we asked her about Susan's claim that she thought it was Kenny. Victoria said she really does think the man in the video looks like her father, but has since come to the conclusion that it's likely not him.
She really does think the man in the video looks like her father, but has come to the conclusion that it's likely not him. Did she come to that? No, this was in September of 2021. She saw that CCTV footage in June, around June 28th, when I contacted her, and she watched it. She watched that CCTV footage and was immediately upset, immediately responded. She's not, you're basically saying she's stupid. You're going to say that Vicky looked at that CCTV footage and goes, it's a 30-year-old crackhead, but I'm going to cry over it because I'm stupid and I can't recognize my own father.
And it was almost a year after we first spoke to Kenny's daughter Victoria when we became aware of the surveillance video. So we asked her about Susan's claim that she thought it was Kenny. Victoria said she really does think the man in the video looks like her father, but has since come to the conclusion that it's likely not him.
No, she knew it was her father. She later stated in a text to me that she did not want to go to the police because Kenny would go. She did not want to be the one to put Kenny in prison, and that's exactly where he would go. Her words, not mine. Now, here we are. Here's another thing of him. according to Jeff Claw, he said, yes, it's an odd family, but people have odd families. So what he's saying is they, excuse me. Let's start with this. The family eyewitnesses, excluding Ray and Debbie, well, of course, it was their story. You think they're going to say, yeah, we're complicit. Yeah, let's lose our business. Let's admit that we're hiding out a missing person. Let's lose our business. Yeah, of course they're going to say it wasn't him. They are the family. They are emotionally seeing a 30-year Kenny again, not a 51-year-old Kenny. Well, first of all, Kenny was 23 when he had Vicky. So if she visualized a 30-year-old Kenny, are you saying that Vicky watched that CCTV footage with the eyes of a 7-year-old? Is that what you're trying to say? And his ex-wife, who saw him in 2012, she watched him. She remembered the good times of when they first started dating, because they had been together way longer than him and Sharon had ever been. And she immediately identified Kenny. But she's a loony woman. That's right. Jeff Claw called all the women loony, and that sounds more on him than me. And he said, I'm sure those texts also say very mad, stunned, furious, eyes full of tears, all emotion, no real facts. But yet, the same family you accused of being emotional, you just said they're an odd family because they showed no emotion. They've showed no attempt to go search for him. They've not assisted hikers. They've not reached out to hikers. They haven't reached out to you, Jeff Claw. You reached out to Debbie at the Reiki Center, and she disregarded you. So yeah, is it an odd family or is it an emotional one? Which one is it? Because they're either odd and they don't care because they know where Kenny's at, or they're emotional and they're seeing Kenny through 30-year-old eyes. Come on, give me a break. Oh, and here's another one. If Sharon and Ray were in on the hoax with Kenny, why would they need to be in his house removing items after he disappeared? Okay, let me tell you, since you weren't there and you don't know Kenny and you've never met Kenny, but immediately after Vicky found out Kenny was missing, and Vicky did not find out Kenny was missing until around November 21st. He had been missing at this point 11 days, and Sharon just did not feel necessary to reach out to his daughter, his sister, his brother, or any of them to let him know that he was missing. Vicky did not know Kenny was missing until November 21st, and Kenny's Facebook messages for his birthday proved that. The family did not know Kenny was missing up until November 21st. Sharon withheld that information. That's clear as a bell. But why would Sharon and Ray, why would they be in his house removing items after he disappeared? Well, okay, so Vicky, immediately after she found out her dad was missing, she went to his house to see what she could find. Do you think if Vicky had walked in that house and saw Kenny's furniture missing and his TV missing and his personal items missing, and yet he was on a hike, don't you think she'd be going, well, wait a minute. Did he take his big screen TV with him on the hike? Oh, maybe not. Maybe I should call the police and report somebody broke in, but there's no signs of a break-in. Of course they waited till after she went in there because Vicky was not involved with Kenny disappearing. Kenny basically withheld all this information from Vicky, and I'll be honest with you, I was on the phone with Vicky when she saw that CCTV footage. She's not that good of an actress. She could not have gotten that upset and that emotional over a 30-year-old crackhead, and then later refused to go to the police after her and the family huddled together. Somebody talked her out of it. They told her, you don't want to go to the police because he will be arrested. He will be arrested for filing a false police report. Okay, and here we go. Fact 4. Let's see if I can get that to go away. Vegas PD says a lot of things on cases that they either do not believe or they know is false. Those are the games that cops play to draw out information. Means nothing. Okay, let me clarify this. Detective Downing told me the day after the HLN documentary aired, and I have never backed down from this. I will take a lie detector test stating this. He stated that I told him that they made me look delusional, and he said, Susan, because of you, the case is open, and we know as of July 15th, 2018, Kenny was alive. Anybody after this documentary aired national would be hard pressed to go and file an insurance claim because the eyes are on them now. The world is watching now. I added the world is watching now, but he basically said they're being watched. So they're not going to go run down to and declare him dead, which they have not. Why have they not declared him dead? If they're so sure he's dead, why not declare him dead, whether they collect insurance or not? They don't want to declare him dead because they know Kenny would be angry if they declared him dead, and he shows up later and he looks like a total jerk, a total con man. That's why they haven't done it. Oh, and as for, he mentioned, I don't know if I have it on here, he mentioned that no insurance is going to pay out a policy without going to the police. Yeah, you're right about that. But what would the police find? Sharon goes to the police and says, Sharon goes to the insurance company and says, I want to cash in on this insurance policy. They require Vicky to declare him dead, not Sharon, Vicky. And I think it's called preemptive, without a body. To do that, they have a checklist. Has the person you're declared dead, Kenny in this case, has he been heard from in 7 years by any of the family members? Well, they're all going to swear that no, they've never heard from him. Has he used his credit cards in the last 7 years? Nope. He's never used his credit cards. Has he been caught on CCTV footage? Well, he was, but Kenny didn't know the CCTV footage was going to happen when he decided to come up with this plot. It's like if I wanted to claim life insurance on somebody, you know what I would do? And this has been done before, so they've tried this, but I would claim that I was at a certain place at a certain time, and all of a sudden I'm not there anymore. Just like the recent guy who went kayaking, they find his kayak and everything else, and they find him in Spain, I believe it is, and he had taken out a $325,000 life insurance policy. It happens a lot. And for you to say the insurance company would not pay, yes, they are going to investigate. But as they have investigated over the last 10 years, they have not found anything. I did not find the CCTV footage until 2021, in June of 2021. If I had never found it, which is what Ray and Debbie were hoping, because Vicky didn't know about it. It's not, at no time did Ray pick up the phone and say, hey, Vicky, my shop got broken into in 2018. It just happened a few days ago. Look at this footage and see if it looks like Kenny. Because as Vicky said on the documentary, she really does think the man in the video looks like her father, but has since come to the conclusion it's likely not him. Now, how is it that Vicky recognized Kenny and she knows him? I recognize Kenny and I've known him since he was 18. His ex-wife has known Kenny, God, I don't know, 30 years. She recognized him. His brother recognized him. His nephew recognized him. His niece, Lacey, did she see him as a 30-year-old? Lacey wasn't even born when Kenny was 30 years old. She was 26 at the time Kenny disappeared. So she can't see him as a 30-year-old because she wasn't even born. She was staying with Kenny for 3 months up until September of 2014. And not once in those months did he ever mention there was an M cave. Vicky didn't know of an M cave. That was a totally different persona. And that's what I mean by persona. That's like saying that Rock Hudson was considered one of the most romantic men ever. He did all those romantic comedies. He's kissing Doris Day, and what do we find out years later? He's gay. That just means good acting. That does not mean that I'm going to dig into Rock Hudson's life and say, I know him better than anybody else. He really, really did like women, because that's just my opinion. I do not watch videos and assume what a person is like. I assume nothing, because the only people that I have made any comments about is Kenny and his family, because I personally know them. So get your information straight. And quit accusing people. Oh, and you even stated, let me find it here. I have no reason to doubt really Robin and Sean's creature witness. Maybe he saw what he saw. He seems sincere to me, so I won't call him a liar. Funny. They're sincere when they see a monster in the desert, but when his own family says that's Kenny, we are liars. We are the liars. We're not sincere. We're overly emotional. Nobody went to the police and they've done no memorials. They've never attempted to search for Kenny. They've never assisted hikers for searching Kenny. But they're odd. So are they odd or are they emotional? Because you can't have it both ways. Oh, and here's another little comment that I saw in here. Also, if you're concerned about some idiot killing himself hiking out there, then you should be more concerned about guys telling people that hiking to Pitcher Canyon or the mine is an easy stroll. I watched the video, and Frank, that's his name, Driven X Adventure, he never said it was an easy stroll. As a matter of fact, he commented on it was a difficult hike, and he's commented to me since that it is a difficult hike, which is most likely if you were out hiking there and your blood pressure got up, you could have a silent stroke, and that could cause a lot of medical problems. But we won't go there, will we? But calling other people idiots because you disagree with what they have to say, no, this needs to stop.